Hello traders and welcome to the Trading Fanatic channel. As always, I'm really excited to have you here, and in this video we're gonna have a trading setups breakdown. So pretty much I'm going to walk you through this week, specifically on EU and AU, because those are the two pairs that I traded this week. I'm gonna show you all the trades that I took, wins, losses, everything. And pretty much the aim of this video is not to only provide you with some gems, some insights into how I trade, and again, practice top-down analysis, really see how we can jump from the daily all the way to the 1 minute in order to execute our trade, right? But we as traders, it is really important that at the end of each day or each week that we really sit down and go back to our executed trades and ask the question, how can I be better? Okay, how can I execute better? How can I exit better? How can I manage my trade better? And what can I do better, right, in order to become a better trader in the future? Okay, because trading is a constantly evolving game. You are not right now a successful or whatever trader you kind of determine yourself to be. You are constantly a student of the market, and you're going to keep growing as long as you pursue a trading career. All right. So pretty much enough of my rant. I'm really excited about this one. I'm sure you're going to find a lot of gems, so make sure to stick up until the end. And before we get started, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell, because I have some amazing things for you that I don't want you to miss out. So make sure to do that. And right now, let's start with EURUSD. All right, let's get started. So first of all, it's always important to start from a higher time frame to really determine where are we, all right? And we have been doing this top-down analysis for quite some time, and I really hope you are enjoying the weekly outlooks and you're kind of following up with all the analysis and how it's playing out. But pretty much right now, just as a little context, we're having a lot of things happening in terms of the kind of external environment, right? We are having a war. It's the 21st century and we're having a war. I think this is complete nonsense, but probably they're doing it on purpose, maybe to crash the stock market. Who knows? We're also having the interest rates pressure, investor uncertainty, and all of those great things that are pretty much causing the market to just bounce up and down, which makes it extremely tricky to trade. All right. And pretty much you can see on the weekly time frame, if I really zoom in to see what is happening right now, well, we have since 22nd of November all the way until January, we just had a range. And then just for 2 weeks, we had a massive move down, a massive move up, and right now we're moving down again and just stuck within this overall range right there, right? So pretty hard to trade. And if you're having a rough time, believe me, it is indeed hard, okay? But in terms of the weekly time frame, we were pretty much bearish. As we broke down, we had this high that the market failed to break above, which means that there is a failure of break of structure. So we can expect potentially the market to continue lower. So the overall bias is bearish. And yeah, as you can see, even on the 10th of February, we had this beautiful liquidity grab. Then the market actually started to flush down. And then we have this question, right? Shall we look at the market like this as a push and a pullback down, or shall we look at it like this as a push down and a pullback up? Okay. And this is pretty much where all the confusion comes in. And this has been very hard for me to really determine, what do I want to trade? Do I want to go long or short in the EU? But this is the time when pretty much adaptation comes in. You can see longs, you can see shorts, you can see everything, and you can strike on everything. All right. So let's focus on the 4-hourly time frame and pretty much where the market actually opened. We opened on the 13th, in fact, the 14th, Monday, St. Valentine. Hope you had a lovely day. But we pretty much, the forecast that I had from the weekly outlook was to tap inside this daily / 4-hourly demand, where we really exited outside very strongly. There were a couple of shorts to be taken precisely from this week right there. We had this beautiful pullback on this week. Then we actually melted into this zone. And as you can see, since then, we have been trading to the upside. Okay. But how are we actually trading to the upside? In a pretty kind of corrective manner, right? We consolidated for quite a while down there. Then we started impulsing higher. Then, of course, the first obstacle was to deal with this supply. We had a tap, we had a massive sell-off. Then the market returned back again. So you can see, like, we just throw big wicks and we're not going anywhere. Then the market pulled back a little bit, pushing to the highs. So right now we're battling with this big guy right there. And again, tonight actually at Asian session, we had some news releases again that the troops of Russia actually were falsely set to be retrieving from the borders, and then we had the sell-off on euro as well. So pretty much it's all a madness going on, right? And we just trade within this range. We just trade from different areas of supply and demand, and we just try to capitalize on whatever the market provides us. So for me, Monday was a no trading day. I skipped Monday and I started trading on Tuesday. So let's see what I had for Tuesday. So pretty much again, as I told you, first of all, our main was to battle with this little supply right there. But as you can see, I have spotted something below it, right? So pretty much this is probably the first mistake. Okay, what is this? This is a lower time frame supply, because you can see on the 4H, we identified this wick as our supply. But the first mistake that I see for myself is that I'm trading from this one right there, which is kind of in the middle, right? So let's start dropping to the hourly to see if we can get more context. I'm gonna just remove some price to keep it clear. You can see on Monday, we had this pullback, we had this push. There is actually a little pullback that you can have taken a short. Then we had this massive move. Then we had another pullback. I was actually looking to trade this one, but it did not provide me with a confirmation. Then we dropped to the downside, okay? So nothing too much to extract from the hour, except that this level right there is very strong. Then dropping onto the 50-minute, let's see where I actually traded from. So there is this area that I wanted to take a short of from, but it did not provide me with a 1-minute entry. And then pretty much, if I ask myself, where did the market really initiate the momentum? So where was the last structure? Is this one. And where is the major lower high before the break? Oh, I thought it's this one, which is kind of in the middle, right? Not nice, but I said, okay, I'm gonna see how it reacts. In the morning, I was actually looking for longs. This is the Asian range. I'm gonna do a video on this one very soon. The market first faked the high of the Asian range, then faked the low. No, it did not actually fake the low. It just retested this demand and just exploded. And I wasn't prepared for that, so longs were missed. Then we come in inside this little supply that I currently perceive not as valid. All right, we of course have these flat highs right there. You can classify as liquidity. There are stop losses above. So as you can see, we tap inside and we very strongly react to the downside. Okay, so this is pretty much when I saw the reaction. I said, okay, cool. I can give this one an attempt to go short. And what I simply did on the 1 minute is I just followed the structure, like this push to the upside, created a higher high. Then we had all of this minor structure in between, grabbing a little bit of liquidity. All the buys were immediately absorbed, right? We just broke structure right there. We changed the trend. And then I find a potential entry area. I took my trade right there, bang. Stop loss, which was very quick. I actually like those stop losses because you immediately get taken out and you're out of the trade, right? And then what I see, okay, cool. Well, probably we're going long right now because this level failed. Then I said, okay, cool, wake up, bro. You're trading from a level that is not very strong. So I would love to see the market come in inside this deeper zone right here. So I was thinking of actually taking longs, but I didn't because this was already outside of my trading window. I actually, this one was also outside. I just took this trade at 10:58 and I usually stop trading at 11. So I was like, okay, cool. I can give this one a try. Okay. Still average trade right there. And then pretty much the market created this big demand, which is seen on the 50-minute. We impulsed outside. We came back right there. That could have been a long. Then I was also observing a short, but the market just entered into a consolidation right there. So it was not really worth taking anything. If we took this one again with a tighter stop loss, let's say of 3 pips, then we reach almost a 1 to 5. Yeah, pretty much 1 to 5 at the bottom. So this one could have been a nice trade to take, but it did not tick my rules because right now we broke structure into the highs. So for me, it was bullish. Okay. Then what we did is, if you actually look at it carefully, we developed all of these flat highs right there and also all of these flat lows, to the downside. So all of this is range, all of this is liquidity building up for something huge. Okay. So what happens is we actually very sharply exited outside of this consolidation. And where did we tap? Well, we tapped into my initial level, which on the 50-minute is this candle. This is really when we pushed, we pulled back, we slowed down for a little bit. And this is the last bullish candle before really the breakdown to the downside. And I also like taking the wicks because there is information within the wicks always. And if we actually take it like this, I keep telling you 50% of wicks. And if we just drop 50%, this is probably where, okay, it just actually, no, there is the first one, right? So this one was slightly invalid again, but it tapped this overall range. So as soon as we tapped right there, I was ready to go short. Okay, and we can see later it actually went all the way up. It did not go into this wick, it went into that wick right there. If we take 50% of this wick, probably this is where we tapped. And yeah, then I was getting ready for a short, and in fact it provided a beautiful setup. So again, push to the upside, this created a higher high. All of this is a mess right there, but the major higher low is this one for me. The market pushed into the highs, grabbed a little bit of liquidity above this kind of consolidation. Very nicely dropped to the downside, and I was, yes, lower low, let's take it from the lower high. And again, call me greedy on this one. This is why I am a promoter of right now of bigger stop losses and smaller risk to reward trades, because I've suffered my bit of missed trades and of stop losses with tight stop losses as well. So at the end of the day, right there, you have a 5 pip stop like this, just take it. All right, don't go greedy. Don't go greedy for a 2 pip or 3 pips. Yes, on Instagram, you can see all of those trades, but in reality, you never know if this is actually the case. But this one was a mistrade again. I'm going to call myself greedy on this one. So what is the lesson is that you can just take a trade, right? Just take a trade, 5 pips, it's perfect. And if you just target this kind of liquidity to the downside, you can see that we have a beautiful, okay, let's maybe take it like this with a 5 pip. We have a beautiful 4R. Who gives you 4R? Right, if you raise 1%, this is 4%. Okay, and yeah, then pretty much we went all the way down where it was actually the initial target. We tapped inside and we started withdrawing. So this is a loss for Tuesday. Let's have a look how the week actually carries on. Removing the loss. No, let me keep it. Then we are going on to Wednesday. Let's start picking up the price action back. Then I would love to actually delete some price again. All right, so right now we are going even higher. Okay, but I am still short bias. I really don't want to long EURUSD right now. I want to short it because also the DXY, if we have a quick check at the DXY maybe later, it is pretty bullish as well, still on the daily as well. And yeah, we're currently tapping into this level, which we're possibly gonna see that it's on the 15-minute, but overall the big level that we're playing is this big range, right? This huge wick that really also broke structure to the downside. So this is a valid supply level for me. Dropping onto the 15-minute, you can see where actually it was. This was the last kind of little lower high before the drop to the downside. So this was just a little refinement that you can do. And as you can see immediately on the left, the market beautifully tapped this one to 50%. So again, wicks are key. In the morning, we had a strange development. So there is the Asian range and the market just massively impulsed into the highs without even providing a single long opportunity, right? So what I only spotted is that there was this last lower high, the market tapped, reacted, failed to hold, massively impulse. So this was potentially a target area or where you could actually take longs, but I did not take longs right there. And unfortunately, my short also did not play out as expected. I got lost a little bit in this consolidation. So let's see what happens. So pretty much we went absolutely perfectly towards the 50%, almost of this kind of supply on the left. Then we had this bullish trend, push, pullback, high low formation, high high. The market taps inside, tries to react, fails, right? So we actually break structure below, we change the trend. Then the market taps into another demand, reacts from it, and then it breaks again. All right, so I'm starting to see that demand is failing and supply is gaining control. Market structure is also turning bearish, so I am ready to strike. Okay, first thing that I do is I set a limit, and my limit is exactly right there. Stop loss goes above, but guess what? I wasn't triggered in this one, and yeah, it was pretty bad because again, what did I tell you from the previous trade? If you just take the trade, allow a bigger stop loss, you are in the trade, okay? And you have a lot of breathing room. But I set a limit, and probably it was a little bit above right there on my MT4 feed. It just didn't trigger me, okay? But then I say, okay, cool, the reaction was beautiful, so how can I get in? Okay, how can I get in? I was just looking for a pullback towards this lower high, and this time I just took the trade, right? This time I just smashed the trade. And again, I was actually given a 3-pip stop loss, which was beautiful. Immediate reaction, and I was looking at this sort of liquidity right there, and I was like, okay, cool, as soon as the market breaks below it, I will be looking to potentially take a partial. But then the whole range right there, the full hourly range, was bullish, so I was looking for the market to pull back towards 50% and even into this demand. So my finger wasn't fast enough to actually press the take partial right there. And guess what? The market pulled back all the way into the highs, went even above my entry. I was like, okay, cool. Let's remain patient. Whatever happens, I have accepted the loss if it goes. It went down, it held from this demand, right? And then I was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't want to take it right now. Well, while it was 3R, just take it, okay? And then it went and actually hit my stop loss. I think I had a reduced stop loss, maybe somewhere right there, just above this structure. It hit stop loss on this one. And it actually went inside the retest of this area. So my limit, if I kept the limit from before, which was somewhere right there, would have been triggered. But once again, we failed to break structure below. And we started building this kind of range, right? You can see we're building this kind of range. And then the market went in again. And then I started seeing the structure as bullish. So I was like, okay, break of structure higher, break of structure higher. It looks a little bit bullish, this one. So I avoided shorts. But I also avoided longs at the same time because I was seeing that the longs were failing to break the high, right? While the shorts were rather untricky. So we got into this big range and I was like, no, I don't want to trade anymore. So I cut trading for today. And this was the only trade, which was a reduced stop loss. And then as you can see, we actually were provided a couple of short trades right there that could have been taken, pushed to the downside, pull back right there towards this last lower high. It wasn't textbook because if we have a look at this whole push, this is where the push originates from. So as long as we stay above this zone, we are bullish. And then as you can see, we tapped inside, reacted, tapped, reacted, actually broke it right there, but it was getting pretty messy at this point. So I just decided not to trade, right? So this is EU on this day, and we pretty much went into my level from the morning, but it was getting a little bit too late. And but possibly right there, you could have taken a beautiful trade. Because again, if you find your last lower high, it's this one. It got respected, then the market failed to break below, which is an MSS formation, pushed into the highs, broke above it, and you could have taken a very nice trade from right there, which is something that you can do on your back tests over the weekend. And once again, if you just started like 4R to 5R, you got it with this trade. So that would have been perfect, but I didn't take this one. And then again, guys, you can see, so we were stuck in the range right there all morning, pushed to the downside, then we pushed to the upside, and then we get stuck in the range again, right? So very, very, very tricky to trade, very tricky. But this is pretty much my, was this Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. So let's actually head to Thursday when we have a couple of good news right now. Thursday when? So let's trigger back the price and let's see. So this is actually today, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. We are still inside this whole supply region right there, and the market was rejecting, doing all of this stupid stuff right there. And overnight, we're having an article or some news that says that Russia hasn't really retrieved back their forces from the borders with Ukraine. And we see a massive expansion to the downside at 4 o'clock right there, which pretty much supported our overall bias. And this is what I told to my team in the morning. Our biases are aligning right now, so I think we're ready to go short on EU and AU, because as you can see, we're overall down. This one is a complex correction right there. So right now, pretty much we could even be taking the lows very soon, if of course the market remains bearish, and if of course any new news don't occur to really shake the market once again. But then what this printed is this massive bearish engulfing candle right there that pretty much broke all the structure. So I immediately framed a short bias in the morning. This was also supported by the fact that this was the high, and this high was faked. It could be with a pip or two, but it is faked, and then we massively initiated to the downside. And pretty much what was strange about this trade is that, oops, my MT4 just went off. Maybe my internet stopped, but this recording should be on. Hopefully trading view is also on. Pretty much what I was looking at, it was this massive Asian range, right? So I'm gonna also create a video on the Asian range, but pretty much the Asian range, the majority of the times gets taken out, okay? But I really loved this zone right there. It was also an hourly zone. So what I did, okay, my MT4 is back right now. So what I did is I just took an aggressive entry right there. So maybe do it like this, yep. So I took an aggressive entry with, as you see right now, I'm learning my lessons from the past trades, and I started obtaining more towards a swing trading approach. It's very relaxed, very stress-free, and still provides the goods, okay? I knew that this Asian range is going to get taken out. So what I did is I tried to explore, if the Asian range gets taken out, where can we go, okay? And I pretty much went to explore the structure on the left. And according to me, this one was the last lower high that also wasn't retested. So I just dropped this line and I placed my stop loss just above it, right there. And as you can see later, we perfectly tapped inside this one, but I was already in the trade from here. And then we just flushed, right? So how did I manage this trade is I took a bigger partial right there. I think it was 3.5. Yep, 3.5 partials right there. And then I took the remaining of my positions down there at 4.3R. So this was again a beautiful trade with a bigger stop loss, no stress. It just flushed, it just went to TP. So that was a pretty nice low stress trade, right? Which pretty much brought all the losses back. And of course, right now I'm gonna actually jump onto AU to show you another win right there. That pretty much went back a little bit above break even for the month because February has been very intense for me. But yeah, this is pretty much EU right now. So my expectations continue to be short, although we're just stuck in this range right now. So we're yet to see tomorrow or today if the market is actually going to hold. There is a potential short play right now, potentially. So let's see how this one is going to play out. But hopefully you got value from this EU breakdown. Right now, I want to jump onto AU, give you a little bit of top-down analysis and a little trade that I took there as well. All right, let's explore EU. Let me show you what I did on this pair this week. Pretty much it's a pair that I have been observing for a while right now, and I am starting to trade it. So you're going to see more trades from me on AU. I'm going to start looking onto all of those details that I, for example, know about EU, and I'm going to be providing you with more value and insights on how to deal with this pair. All right. So pretty much we are in a bearish market on the weekly time frame, but as you can see, the weekly candle so far, it's pretty bullish. So if we actually think of this, and if we can imagine, for example, tomorrow is Friday, can the market reject right there and really create a bearish candle after we have been developing so bullish? I don't think so, right? It's definitely possible, but I don't think so. So pretty much we can say that the outlook overall on this one is bullish so far. If we go on the daily, I want to show you something on the daily. So pretty much we had this supply right here that the market very sharply pushed to the downside. We also had this little one. And this little one is when you actually look at the details, because this is the last lower high. This is also an inside bar. The market pulled back. Pretty much we have two inside bars. So this one was the mother candle right there. Then we have two inside bars in between, and then we massively expanded to the downside, which created a lower high. So the market tapped inside this lower high, tried to push down, failed, and made a break higher, all right? So what this also creates is demand right there. And so pretty much what happens right now is there is a battle, there is a conflict of interest right there. So we're having this daily supply on the top and we're having this daily supply on the bottom. So who is gonna win? We massively reject from this one. We try to push, but the market comes inside the demand, consolidates right there for 3 days and starts to impulse into the highs. And potentially what we can indicate with this one is that this pair is overall bullish, right? Because in order for the market to fully reverse, it has to deal with this demand, right? And if it holds, then that means that potentially there are buyers entering into this market and we can expect even a new high. So curious to see if this is going to be the case. If we also check the 4-hourly time frame, by that time, it was looking really bearish. So we had the market taking out the high right there with this very nice wick, this very nice kind of V shape right there, and then strongly breaking into the lows, right? Then it pulled back, created the lower high, pushed to the downside, created the lower low, all right? So then this becomes our major lower high. And as you can see, we came inside, we reacted, but we failed to hold, okay? So pretty much right now, my last resort for shorts is this wick right there, okay? And if this wick fails, then I can say that AU is potentially going to continue higher. But let's see the trade that I took this week. I think it was, when was it? Yesterday? So that should be Wednesday. Okay. So pretty much as I told you, I traded from this supply zone right there. The market came inside it went all the way towards the wick. Okay. So keeping in mind that this is a whole supply level, I just took the wick like this. The market came inside and started providing me with a reaction. So let's see how this one looks like on the 15-minute. During the morning, we had the Asian range. That was kind of trending already. So we had a push, we had a pullback, and the market just started expanding. No pullback, okay? And we pretty much had a tap inside this zone. Okay, outside started raining right now. We had a tap inside this zone. So what I also want to show you right there is that if you had this whole zone on the 4H, let's say, the market was already tapping it right here. okay? And as you can see, boom, bearish engulfing candle, ready to short. Usually, you don't want to trust the first high that enters into your zone, okay? Especially if there is like nothing in the middle right there. So this was a straight push to the downside. You cannot expect for the market just to tap and go, okay? Usually, if you have such a level, the market is going to tap inside, it's going to react, it's going to come in again, it's going to react, maybe again, and then only then it's going to break structure below and show you that the sellers are there. Okay, so if you are looking for such supply levels on the left and the market is coming in with great steam, right? Don't trust the first high right there. I have written it, it just disappeared. But let me show you, because we pretty much got an entry setup, but I listened to this rule that I have in my plan, so I didn't take it. As you can see right there, so we tapped inside. There is the level on the left on the 4H. We changed the structure, we pulled back, supply was introduced, massive sell-off, pullback. This was the entry. And I was kind of ready to get into this one, but it was 840. So this is not even London open. The setup would have looked like this. We responded a little bit, but then it would have been a stop loss. If you took this one, perfect. It's fine, right? This setup, it's absolutely perfect, but it's again about the little details. And what did I tell you? So the market comes in, gives you the short, then breaks structure again, pulls back. Break structure again, pulls back. Break structure again. And only then it actually showed us that it reversed. Okay, so this, according to me, was the last demand. The market tapped inside and created this big wick, and then we actually dropped to the downside. So my mistake on this one, I was rather lucky on this trade. Oh, what did I do? I was rather lucky on this trade. Why? Because I wanted to trade from this wick, but I was also aware that we can retest this huge wick right there. So in the moment, it was a little bit of a funny story, because I said, okay, cool, I'm going to take it from here, but I'm not going to have a stop loss of 2 pips. I'm going to give a bigger stop loss right there. And if I get stopped out, I'm also going to enter from this wick right there, so I can get a much tighter entry, and my stop loss can actually go above this major 4-hourly lower high. Okay, so this is the plan. But guess what? The market actually tapped me inside right there. So I do trade from here. Went into drawdown, but bless you, IC markets, they did not stop me out. And then it started rolling to the downside very nicely. And this was kind of a average trade, I would say. It's kind of a retracement / counter trend trade, because we're trading against massive momentum to the upside. So what I simply did is, of course, I spotted this demand right there, and I took all of my profits down there for a 3.3 risk to reward, which is, hey, not huge. If I compare this to all the 100 risk to reward guys, it's not huge, but it is still great profit. Okay. And it brought me much further into profits for the day, because I also was taking EU. No, EU was that half loss that day. So yeah, this one was a pretty nice trade right there. Again, it would have been much better to enter from the high, again with the slightly even smaller stop loss, and then you can see the risk to reward changes immediately. Okay, so this is the improvement area. And then I also wanted to take a short again, because the market came in inside right there, respected beautifully, changed the structure, but then it just didn't provide an entry, started to range, and then yeah, all of this stuff happened right there, which was pretty tricky to trade. Okay. And yeah, also today there was a potential for a short. The market just came inside right there. I got an aggressive entry, but I took it on EU. This one was also beautiful from right there. If you just took it from there, aggressive, give it a 4 pip stop loss. And as you can see to the bottom, you have a 7R. Right now, we just came for a re-entry. I guess my team are already in this one right now. So let's see how they're going to play. And also, this is the last resort, keep in mind, for AU. So if this supply fails, then we can potentially start really changing the structure on the daily, and we can start targeting higher prices. Okay. So hopefully you stayed up until the end. Hopefully you extracted something from this little breakdown. I was just ramping, just showing the trades, just brainstorming on my own. Let me know down in the comments, how can I improve further? I would love to hear from you. Do you have any suggestions for me? Do you like this sort of videos as well, where I just break down my charts? Are you getting value from those? Let me know down in the comments. Hit the like video if you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday for the weekly outlook and setups. So stay tuned for that, and have an amazing remaining of your week.